Hello, 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 and welcome to the M2 podcast. This is episode, what are we on now? We're on 15. Episode 15 of season 3. This is basically the show where we cover esports and personalities, some gaming industry related news, new and upcoming games, and also some technology and innovation. I am your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host, Mr. J.K. Heath, aka Mr. KyleHeath, he's not with us today. He is out for this week, so it's just me and my lonesome. But we'll try to keep you guys entertained, fill you in on the week and everything that we got going on. If you are interested in where Kyle is, he's at the Halo Championship Series at Kansas City. So check him out on Twitter. He's probably going to be posting a lot. I believe he's doing a vlog. Might be doing some content, but we'll basically get the full rundown of the entire weekend that he's got going on when he gets back. So without further ado, I wanted to update some people. I rewatched last week's episode 14, and I noticed I was pretty congested. I'm fighting a cold still, so I want to apologize in advance if I end up coughing or anything like that. We'll edit it out. It should be fine. But outside of that, I just want to fill everybody in. Yesterday, so today's Thursday. Yesterday on Wednesday, played some Overwatch 2 open beta. I got the Twitch drop through Asmon Gold of all people. Most people were watching XQC. So I played it for the first time in a long time. First time on PC. I'm used to playing on Xbox, the Xbox One. Man, it's a good game. I think it's got me hooked, and I'm really ready to go back and basically play some more. So definitely looking forward to that. But last episode, we mentioned how there was a special on Avermedia and how they were basically doing a spring sale. I believe we linked that in our previous description. If we didn't, feel free, go on Amazon, just type in Avermedia spring sale, and they're basically the same guys that they're almost a direct competitor of Elgato, and ended up picking up a webcam. So for everybody that's actually watching this on YouTube or Spotify or where else this video might end up showing up, got a new image, got some new lights as well. I tried to basically set up a whole new look to try to up the quality of the broadcast and video. So hopefully you guys like it. If not, if you do, let me know. So without further ado, this week we got a couple of good articles for you guys. And basically to start off, Activision Blizzard loses 60 million monthly active users in the past year. Right off the bat, I don't think anybody's going to be really surprised by this, although 60 million active users is pretty intense. But if you think about the last year we've had, people going back to work, not having enough time to really stay home, stay indoors, game, they have other responsibilities and stuff like that. It's not that surprising. Also, with any Call of Duty fan understands that Vanguard, to them, has a lot of critics. So this article comes from GameSpot by Eddie McCutch. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. But essentially, he wrote that Activision Blizzard has released its latest quarterly financial report, and numbers were not good for the publisher, with revenue and player numbers and Call of Duty unit sales all coming in lower than before. For the quarter ending March 31st, Activision Blizzard had revenue of $1.77 billion compared to $2.28 billion during the same period last year. Net bookings, meanwhile, amounted to $1.48 billion, down from $2.07 billion last year. In-game net bookings came in at $1.01 billion, which is a decrease from the $1.34 billion. So, in terms of the player numbers, Activision Blizzard's overall monthly active users amounted for 372 million for the quarter. That's down from 435 million during the same period last year. It's a drop of about 63 million players in a year. And this article goes on to theorize, so what happened? Activision said Call of Duty Vanguard sold worse than Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is basically a drawback. from the previous generation of game. Additionally, Warzone had lower engagement. Call of Duty Mobile, however, performed about as well as it did last year prior in regards to the net bookings. Total net bookings of Call of Duty series across console and PC, however, declined. That's not really shocking. As we mentioned several times on this podcast, that mobile gaming is actually on the rise for everybody, and more developers are actually pushing towards mobile gaming. So if anything, that number should be going up. So the fact that they're staying the same is kind of a decline in the way. So, despite the Call of Duty declines, Activision said it continued to rapidly expand its development resources for the entire Call of Duty series during the first quarter of 2022. The next Call of Duty premium game is Modern Warfare 2, while a new Warzone game is on the way. Speaking of which, Modern Warfare 2 was actually teased today. So today is Thursday, the April 28th, 2022. All they teased was essentially just a post like, hey, Modern Warfare 2, here's the logo. They posted on Twitter, and I believe probably Instagram, if I had to guess. Haven't actually checked, but Twitter is basically the forefront of upcoming news. So, as for Blizzard, the company's financial results in the first quarter were down year over year due to lack of major releases, which is true. They did postpone their last game, Modern Warfare 2. They postponed a year. The company said, looking ahead, Blizzard has the new World of Warcraft expansion, Dragonflight, in the works, alongside with the Wrath of the Lich King Classic. And additionally, Blizzard just announced the Diablo Immortal will launch on June 2nd for mobile devices, while a PC edition is coming that day, as well as an open beta. So keep an eye out for that for everybody that's a fan of Diablo, although I remember there's a big fuss about it being on mobile devices. What's more, Blizzard said development of Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 is progressing well. I know I mentioned Overwatch 2 before, and for anybody that's very curious, or anybody that's basically said, I know a bunch of my friends, and I've seen people on Twitter have somewhere along the sentiment of Overwatch 2 is just Overwatch, the original one, but a new map, and that's basically it. Maybe that's true. What I will say, now keep in mind, I'm coming from Xbox One when I was playing this game on Overwatch. On PC, the game is super smooth. The frame rate is fantastic. The quality, the graphics look like they're amazing. They got rid of one of the tanks, so there's only one tank per team. That kind of speeds things up and I believe it makes it a little bit more intentional about your choices, a little bit more fast pace, and create more demand for your DPS characters to do better. And it actually kind of frees it up for your healing guys to be a little bit more damage oriented. But I definitely recommend at least trying it out. It's free. If you got a PC that can handle it, which I believe most people do, it's a really well optimized game from my experience, and definitely check out Overwatch 2. But back to Call of Duty. So and Activision and Blizzard. So Activision and Blizzard financial figures dropped year over year. The company's Candy Crush division, King, saw in-game net bookings jump 8% year over year. Player numbers across all King games grew by double-digit percentages year over year. Probably one of the major reasons why Microsoft went and bought them out. So Activision Blizzard's earnings released today was not traditional, with the company not conducting a conference call, issuing an official presentation, or giving financial guidance. That's because of Activision Blizzard's proposed sale to Microsoft, which will take some time to actually finalize, but it is expected to close at some point during Microsoft's fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. So a whole another year for that to be figured out. Probably all coming to Game Pass, honestly. So recently, a group of U.S. senators, including Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, said they are deeply concerned about the sale and specifically what it might mean for gaming workers or company workers. They're always going to have headlines, aren't they, politicians? Activision Blizzard has come under pressure and scrutiny lately for its workplace culture, as well as controversies surrounding its top boss, Bobby Kotick, who is accused of knowing about and covering up instances of sexual harassment and abuse. and Kotick reportedly also threatened to kill someone. That is new to me. I actually did not know that he threatened to kill somebody. That's wild. So first and foremost, we have covered on several occasions on this podcast about the acquisition of Microsoft, and actually one of those videos on YouTube is actually not going viral. It's getting traction. We're getting a couple of hits there and people watching and getting interactive. So we feel like we did a good segment on it. So check it out on YouTube. Also, we're doing YouTube clips now, a little self-plug for M2 podcasts. So feel free to check that out. So it's not all that surprising that Activision Blizzard has lost quite a bit of monthly active users. I know a lot of my friends in particular, more casual gamers, not the diehards, you know what I mean by that. They have mostly stepped away from Call of Duty and they're back in the office and they're working. It takes up a lot of their time. And overall, I'm not seeing as many streamers really playing Call of Duty. A lot of them have been outspoken about Warzone and how they're just bored and sick of it. I think with Fortnite, other games like Fortnite, with a battle royale being no build mode, getting a lot of traction. Halo Infinite came out for a little bit. There were a lot of people playing that for a while. They switched over. Destiny 2 is making some more upgrades and DLC. So there's a lot of competition out there. So to see them drop, I don't think it's really all that concerning. I mean, this is Call of Duty. It's a major franchise. And honestly, I liked Modern Warfare, like the 2019 Modern Warfare. I had a lot of fun with that. I paid for the full game. I got the Warzone version. I had a great time. And I'm actually looking forward to a sequel. I hope it's unique. Like, honestly, like most of them are. Moving on to the next story, which is actually a pretty big deal. So Twitch reportedly considering big partnership changes and sub-revenue splits. So me personally, I've been on a downturn of hype surrounding Twitch as a platform in general. I've been on Twitch personally since Just Not TV days. My account's from 2008. I've used Twitch all the time. Like I followed hundreds of streamers. I stream myself, not in a serious manner, more of like a a hobby, kind of, just having a good time for a couple of friends here and there to watch my gameplay. But Twitch has been making some pretty significant changes ever since they got bought out by Amazon, and this is probably the most recent. Now, keep in mind, this article comes from Dextero by Dylan Hortisky. Yeah, let's move on. It's from Dextero, and essentially, this is all a rumor that originally surfaced from Bloomberg, which is a really reputable magazine, news source, and everything like that. And basically, what it is that Twitch is reportedly considering big changes to their partnership contract, including reducing subscription revenue splits and adding more incentives for partners to run ads throughout their streams. So, since Twitch was acquired by Amazon in 2014, popular streaming platform has amassed over 2 million broadcasters, and over 50,000 of them have made it to partner status. Now, for those of you that do not know, partner status basically means that you obviously have a partnership with Twitch, but you have to meet specific requirements to get to partner status. Now, those requirements would be somewhere along the lines of at least 75 average concurrent viewers for an entire month. And usually I believe they do around 30 or 31 days where you have to be above 75 hours. You have to stream a set number of hours in that month, and you have to stream a set number of days. And then I believe there might be one or two more requirements about usually interaction within your chat to make sure that, like, obviously not view botting or anything like that. It's a manual style of partnership where when you meet the metrics, you aren't instantly granted partner. Somebody has to review your application and then personally decide whether or not you can become a partner of Twitch. So it's a very stringent process. As you can tell, over 2 million broadcasters and only 50,000 of them have made it to partner status. So now that you know that, Partners on the platform have an exclusivity clause, meaning they agree to live stream exclusively on Amazon's owned site, aka Twitch. That means if you become a partner, and this is also true with affiliate, which is much easier to get. Affiliate, you basically have to stream a set number of days and have an average number of viewers of 5, which is, and maybe 100, 50 followers. 50 followers. I believe that's correct. So 5 average viewers and 50 followers. I could be wrong, but it's basically around that, 3 or 5 average viewers. Insanely easy to do, but within their affiliate clause, they give you a 50-50 split on subscriptions, which is, there are different tiers of subscriptions. There's like 5, 15, 25. Twitch automatically takes half, and they make sure that you can't stream on any other platform live, which is crazy. Honestly, no other platform does this. So, as well, some have the ability to request higher revenue split for their subscribers, bringing it up to a 70-30 split instead of the 50-50. Now, some of the research I've done is that the 70-30 split has been done away with and doesn't exist anymore since 2018. So 4 years after Amazon bought Twitch. Now, according to the report from Bloomberg, Twitch is considering altering how partnerships work, which could result in more ads for viewers. By the partnership changes, in the report, Twitch is considering at least 3 major changes to the partnership program. One of the updates they're considering would be more incentives for the streamers to run ads throughout the stream. This is the change that some users believe has already been added to some larger streamers' contracts, as Nick Mertz has dealt with complaints about his ad break since he re-signed with Twitch last October. Now, this is a big deal. A lot of people don't know this. When you sign up for an affiliate or a partner, Twitch automatically will run ads on your program. Now, within your contract for partner status, you have to do a set number of ads per minute. Usually, it's all negotiated in the partnership contract. I haven't gotten to that level, so I don't know the specifics, but I do know they have to play ads. Now, it's very interesting because the bare minimum to become an affiliate is so simple, and yet when you sign up and you agree to become an affiliate, you lose the ability to stream on any other platform legally. And the other thing that it does is when somebody clicks on your stream, it automatically will play an ad. A lot of people don't know that. So when you have people that just join up to your stream, unless they subscribe, they'll skip the ad. But when they just join up to your stream, they'll get hit with an ad instantly. And that's a pretty big deal when you are only streaming to maybe 10, 20 people. So you're more incentivized as a small content creator or streamer to not accept this affiliate contract and just leave it as is. So when you're unaffiliated and you haven't signed those contracts, you won't get ads on your stream. So people can just come in and leave without any ads whatsoever. It's actually pretty nice. Anyways, so the major thing is that we've already mentioned this. Twitch is getting rid of is debating whether or not to get rid of the 70% sub revenue cut and move it down to 50%. Now, this is a quote from Bloomberg. Twitch staff is considering paring back the revenue cut of channel subscriptions granted to the top echelon of streamers in its so-called partnerships program to 50 to 70%. Another option is to create multiple tiers and set criteria for how to qualify for each one. 2 of the people have said. However, Twitch may offer to release partners from their exclusivity clause, which would allow them to stream on Facebook or YouTube gaming. In theory, if Twitch released Nick Mertz from his exclusivity on Twitch, you'd be able to stream with Dr. Disrespect again. That is not entirely true. However, Nick would still have to stream on YouTube. So one of the reasons I chose Dextero as the article is they're kind of going to be straight to the point, whereas the Bloomberg article will just be all over the place. It'd go really deep. But they have this wrong. Dr. Disrespect, a major content creator and streamer, he is banned on Twitch, period. So he can never appear on Twitch. In fact, some people have accidentally shown him on Twitch through his videos from YouTube or Twitter or anything like that, or even talking to him. They get banned almost instantaneously. It's a manual ban, but once Twitch officials find out that Dr. Disrespect appeared on somebody's stream, they ban that person. So in this exclusivity with Twitch for Nick Mertz, he would not be able to play with Dr. Disrespect and stream on Twitch. If he did, he would be banned. So it's important to note that these updates have not been finalized and could be changed or completely abandoned before they are made official. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming months. So, one of the things that it does mention is a tier system. So there are a couple of things when it comes to Twitch that this is all rumors again. The tier system would be basically grabbing a different group of Twitch streamers based on probably number of viewers or brand friendliness, and essentially pairing them up with certain sponsors so they get more revenue. But it would be for major partnered streamers like XQC, Asmongold, Nick Mertz. These guys already have private contracts worth millions of dollars for set years, and it wouldn't make sense for them to switch from 70% to 50% because they're already getting essentially a salary. It's just not equivalent. And I actually just watched the video today that I would recommend to anybody interested, is a man named Devin Nash, who runs a talent agency that basically covers this exact topic in an in-depth deep dive of Twitch and what this could actually mean for the future of Twitch. Highly recommend. And I'll pull this up on the stream so I make sure that I get the right information. So if you're on YouTube, you just type in Devin Nash, and probably Devin Nash, just type in Twitch. It'll probably be the first thing that pulls up. Here you go. Right here. Hopefully it doesn't play automatically.
Witness something.
Apologies for the ad. So Twitch, are huge changes coming to Twitch streamer pay. It's a long one. It's a long video.
I have been.
It is 40 minutes long. However, I recommend you check it out if this is something that interests you. One of the other things that Kyle and I have actually been talking about is for young or new, brand new content creators and live streamers, what platform to choose and why you should choose them and what the pros and cons are of each one, going down to the technicalities and all the different technology that each one of them provides, because they're not all equal. Twitch is not equal to YouTube. YouTube's not equal to Facebook, in all these different ways. So that might be a podcast episode that we do that'll be similar to a special that we have where we do essentially interviews. But instead of the interview, we just stick entirely to one subject and break it down and try to essentially help out new content creators and streamers. We have the both of us help out a lot of people, and we've gotten a couple of questions that were just like, I should use Twitch, right? It's like, not necessarily. Maybe YouTube might be your way to go, or Facebook, or even TikTok for some people. It just really depends. So all that to really say is, if Twitch goes from a 70% cut to a 50% cut for their streamers, their partner streamers, I think they're essentially asking their partner streamers to start streaming somewhere else. Because honestly, why would you stay at that point? They're already taking half of everything. And I get it. Twitch has basically a monopoly when it comes to live streamers and people viewing. Anytime a new game comes out, everybody goes to Twitch first, if they're not already on YouTube watching VOD content. But a lot of people like watching the first reactions because it's a community. And yeah. So something else coming. We haven't shown much love to Sony and PlayStation in a while. So there were a couple articles that came out that would be really good to essentially update the PlayStation fans. Hold on, let me take a quick drink of water. Alrighty. So PC Gamer came out with an article. Jody McGregor, fine gentleman, I believe. Jody McGregor. So, Sony is hiring a senior director for PC planning and strategy. Sony formed a PlayStation PC publishing label in 2021 and has brought plenty of formerly PlayStation exclusive games to PC, with Death Stranding, Horizon Zero Dawn, and God of War being among them. And Uncharted Legacy of the Thieves collection is due later this year. This ongoing experiment has clearly done well for the company, and the latest sign of that is a jobs listing for Senior Director of PC Planning and Strategy at PlayStation Global. If you're afraid Sony's fling with PC gaming might prove brief, this listing is more evidence of continued long-term. He goes, whoever gets the role will be responsible for the strategy and commercial activity within global channel sales and will deliver a single optimized PC sales growth and commercial plan to hub and territory teams to implement. That's pretty sick. Bringing already popular games to PC is a strategy that's worked for Sony so far. God of War was Sony's biggest PC launch, with Horizon Zero Dawn also sold well, and Days Gone respectively. There are plenty of other recent big budget action games on the console still waiting to be ported over, and this guy is a diehard fan of Bloodborne. He said Bloodborne absolutely needs to get the PC ready. So Bloodborne can wait if it means getting Spider-Man into the hands of modders any sooner, which is very true. It's really cool to see the PC community go ahead and start modding a lot of these games and doing their own little like free DLC, you know what I mean? So simultaneous releases of future games would be an obvious next step once the backlog of prestige exclusives has been worked through. The question is, would brand new games be released on Steam, Epic, or a potential PlayStation launcher, a kind of PSN for PC, perhaps cross-save and shared trophies? Given that Bethesda just announced the shutdown date for its launcher, maybe Sony's new Senior Director of PC Planning and Strategy will read the writing on the wall there. So this is kind of interesting. I don't think Jody over here, took into account that Bethesda being bought by Microsoft Studios, game studios, would essentially mean that everything on Bethesda should just naturally transition over to the Xbox Game Pass or the Xbox app and the Xbox launcher or Microsoft launcher just in general. But Sony's new director of PC planning, I mean, sure, I could see PlayStation definitely doing its own launcher, which would be so inconvenient, I think. But at the same time, they're trying to create their own ecosystem that directly competes with the Game Pass over basically the acquisition of Activision Blizzard put Sony into a frenzy. It seems like they've been making pretty steady improvements of their PlayStation Plus memberships, and essentially they're direct competitor to the Xbox Game Pass. But for me, who never really was able to play a Sony PlayStation much unless I was borrowing my friends or using my roommates or whatever, seeing massive titles like God of War and Days Gone come to PC as well, I mean, it's fantastic because like my PC is ultimately more powerful than any console, which gives me a little bit more freedom, and along with the PC community being more inclined to take modding into their own hands and create their own artistic, what do you want to go with this, like their interpretation of what the game should be like, or things that they want to see added on. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, for example, like God of War, how cool would it be if you added Thor fully to it, or you know, there's just a multitude of things that you can do with modding, and everything going to PC just makes things to a bigger audience, I think. But this is very exciting news for everybody that's just PlayStation fans, and all the different games that they have. So Senior Director for PC Planning and Strategy. Yeah, always good to hear that they're trying to implement and directly compete with Xbox, who moved a lot of their exclusive titles from console to PC. For example, Halo, a long-running franchise that I never thought I would see on PC ever, is now I mean, Halo Infinite launched on PC, so it's pretty cool. All right, the next article comes from Tech Radar. Philip Palmer wrote that there's a new PS5 update that is out now, and it's a game changer. This is something that I actually looked at, and I was really surprised that the PS5 didn't have it yet, but it's also really, really cool that they're able to do a software update without like having to deal with anything hardware-wise. You can just send the update over the internet, download it on your PS5, and you are good to go. So what's the update? A new PS5 update is rolling out this week that will bring variable refresh rate, VRR for short, to Sony's consoles, a feature that will improve the performance of various PS5 games. The news comes as a surprise as Sony previously stated that VRR support would arrive in the months ahead. However, it appears that the company has managed to expedite the process, revealing on the PlayStation blog that VRR support is coming to every PS5 this week. So, variable refresh rate is a long-awaited feature that topped the wish list of PS5 owners who have compatible displays, especially as both the Xbox Series X and S have long embraced the display technology. As outlined by Sony, VRR requires a compatible TV and PC monitor with HDMI 2.1. VRR is a common feature on the best TVs, and it primarily helps eliminate screen tearing, which occurs when your TV's image refresh rate isn't in sync with whatever game you're playing. With the PS5 VRR update, your TV's display will get synced to the console output to stop any screen tearing without impacting a game's performance. This isn't all VRR can do, though. It also helps combat other common display problems, especially in games with stuttering or frame rate drops. It can also help lower input latency, making games feel more responsive. So, for those of you that are unaware, a couple of quick things that I feel like I need to mention because a lot of people don't actually know this. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X have a new form of technology called the HDMI 2.1 port. It's an out port, obviously, but the only way that will work, and essentially what it means is this isn't true for the PS5, but for the Xbox, you can get 1440p at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, and also 1080p at 120 frames per second. But the way it works is you have to use an HDMI 2.1 cable. It has to be plugged into an HDMI 2.1 port on a TV or monitor that can handle or has that port. So if you have a TV or a PC that has an HDMI 2.0, the last generation of HDMI 2.0s, then it will not work to the best of its ability. I'm pretty sure it won't work at all, meaning that you'll be locked at like 1080p, 60 frames per second base feature. So what you want to do when you're trying to make sure you're actually compatible is to find an HDMI 2.1 port on either your PC monitor or TV. I recommend monitors if you're sitting down at a desk. If you're in your living room, that's going to cost you a lot of money for the TV, but it comes with built-in speakers, so that helps. And essentially is that it's not all that common. They're pretty rare, and the refresh rate is very similar to your frequency. So you want to make sure that you have a high frequency TV and PC monitor to utilize the amount of frames that you're getting from the cord from your console. So I believe I cleared that up. Hopefully I didn't make anybody confused. Definitely worth looking into and doing your own research so you actually know that you're optimizing or using the most of the game. So right off the bat, let's go back to PlayStation 5. So some PS5 games will receive specific optimization patches for VRR. Thankfully, Sony has already announced a pretty sizable selection. So there are actually super popular games here. We got Astro's Playground, we got Call of Duty Vanguard, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Destiny 2, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, which is a pretty cool game, Godfall, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, and Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, Tina, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I have yet to play, but there's a lot of hype behind it. So if anybody has been playing it, let me know what it is in the comments. Respond to us, reach out on Twitter, Discord, everything, Also on Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege and Tribes of Midgard. So Insomniac Games, they also announced that the VR support is coming this week to a number of its games, which is Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, and such. They also said that those who use VR on 120 hertz, that's the frequency, display will get a variable uncapped frame rate that can exceed your chosen graphic mode's 30 or 60 FPS target by 50%. So basically, some games are set to 30 frames per second, some other ones are set to 60 frames per second just based on the engine that it operates in. And with this variable refresh rate on a 120 hertz display, you can likely see upwards of from 60 FPS to 90. Because 50% more would be 60 plus 30, 90. In Arcane Studios, the developers of Deathloop has also announced that the VRR support is coming to the time looping shooter. And I actually have yet to play that. It looks really cool. Which should provide smoother performance and tackle any screen tearing. So, of course, not every game will receive VRR specific patch, but that doesn't mean they can't take advantage of the technology. Users will be able to apply VR to unsupported games at a system level, which should, in theory, benefit every title. However, if unexpected visual effects occur, screen tearing, freezing of the game, stuff like that, you can always switch this off. Make sure you take note of which games are doing that and report it if you are one of the ones with the PS5 that's already updated. It's worth noting that games that have a frame rate below 40 frames per second tend not to benefit from VRR. 30 FPS titles, for example, will fall below the usual VRR window where the technology kicks in to help smooth out gameplay. That means a game like Bloodborne, this man loves Bloodborne. This entire Tech Radar website loves Bloodborne, which has a notorious stuttering 30 frames per second frame rate, will not benefit. However, something like Ghostwire Tokyo, a much newer title, I believe, which has multiple high frame rate modes, the majority of which are either unstable or exhibit screen tearing, will benefit immensely from VRR. A fantastic feature, but one more remains, says the article from Tech Radar, and I agree with them. We're delighted that PS5 is finally getting VRR support, particularly as we thought we'd have to wait a good few months before it arrived. However, there's still one big feature missing from the PS5, and that's 1440p support. When connected to a 1440p monitor or display, the PS5 will only output 1080p, albeit with downscaling. Downscaling basically means when you're outputting 1440p, it will downscale to 1080p so you can watch it. While this helps provide a crisp 1080p image, users who own a 1440p display have a PS5 hooked up, you are missing out on 78% more pixels. That's such a silly line. That's a filler. That's Philip Palmer over here filling words. So yeah, 1440p display down to a 1080p is a 78% loss of pixels. So this is a huge oversight then, particularly as many PS5 owners might use a 1440p monitor. Hopefully this issue is addressed sooner or later, as this feature has been available on the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X and S for a number of years. So thought this was pretty cool. Variable refresh rate on consoles is actually a very new thing ever since the Xbox Series X and S basically sort of perfected it. There are some games on the Xbox that will actually lock it, so you can't get more. So, for example, Halo Infinite, game I'm super familiar with, on the Xbox Series S is locked at 60 frames per second. Halo 5 as well, on both consoles, Xbox Series X and S, is locked at 60 frames per second. That is a developer choice. It's not a console choice. Sometimes the developer engine or the game engine from the developer can be bugged if they try to go higher. It's sometimes not made for it, which is essentially what this article's pointing towards when they say some of the games that are locked at 30 frames per second, which are usually older titles like your arcade titles, and you don't want to mess with those ones. but games that are a little bit more faster, more modern, especially shooters, you're going to want this. It's going to make everything much smoother. For anybody that's never seen or played on a monitor and a high refresh rate, this will change your world. I will tell you right now. So once we get to that and everybody's on these HDMI 2.1 cables, which are new tech, still pretty expensive to find, but once that happens, it's going to be amazing. And props and much love to all the PlayStation 5. You guys are finally getting some recognition. More updates coming. PlayStation and Sony making some strides. There was an update to this article, and I chose to skip it, come back to it later because it was a little bit more of an add-on feature. So the new PS5 update is live today. So as you guys are listening to this, it's live, but you may need to restart your console to push it through. Unlike previous system updates, there's no file to download and install. You have to simply head to your settings, your video output, screen and video, and you should see a new section called VRR, Variable Refresh Rate. From here, you can turn VRR on and apply it to unsupported PS5 games if you like. So it looks like VRR will only work on PS5 games and not PS4 titles via backward compatibility. Some PS5 games have received specific patches for VRR, but the system-wide setting should still benefit games that haven't. If you notice any oddities when playing certain games, you can always switch VRR for unsupported games off. This is a pretty cool feature. It's also in the Xbox console, where you have to go manually select your frame rate, and it usually shows what's compatible with the device and monitor display that you're using. So definitely take a look at that for everybody that's on console. And if you're only still on console, your next upgrade, I'm telling you right now, get a monitor. 27.5-inch monitor, maybe 24.5-inch monitor. Some of them are on sale. Make sure it has a high refresh rate, low response time, and you're gonna love life. I'll tell you that right now. The big thing that you will notice is reaction time or response time on the controller when you're actually making inputs. It's gonna be immediate when you have it plugged up and working. And on to the next article. This one comes from Tom's Hardware. Tom's Hardware. Graphic cards selling for near MSRP. The best GPU deals. Current gen graphic cards are back in stock, but which one should you buy? So this is I love going to Tom's Hardware. It's a fantastic website, magazine, database almost basically, and the guys that work there, I mean, they know their business. Let's see, is there a name? Jared Walton, published one day ago, Wednesday, 27th, I believe? 27th. So essentially what they've done here is they went ahead and put together a list of cards because, as we mentioned on a couple of episodes back, GPU prices are coming down. So the GPUs of the best graphic cards have been terrible, with many cards peaking at over 3 times their official MSRP. But the long dark night is coming to an end, as we knew it eventually must. I love the way they write their articles. So essentially what's going on is the backlog of all the different supply chain issues that have been going on have been really slowing, getting more caught up. There's still some issues with COVID and all that. And data mining when it comes to cryptocurrency and everything like this. All of that's basically subsiding. The prices are now starting to come down. And I think the most important thing before we start reading off the performance of these cards and what's actually worthwhile is that this part of the article. So here's the high level overview, ranking all of the current and previous generation graphic cards based on the best prices currently available. That means eBay, where the average price is lower than the retail price. Otherwise, retail pricing. We've sorted the following table based on the FPS per dollar spent using the 1080p Ultra Performance. That will penalize cards that only have 4 GB VRAM but using 1080p medium would similarly penalize the faster GPUs since they cannot show their true grit at such low settings. So prices are in a wild state of flux, so things can and will change quickly over the coming days. We'll periodically update this table if and when we notice any major swings in pricing. Now, while we're on this topic of updating, if you guys want to check out any of the articles, anything that we've covered, anything we've mentioned, check the description wherever you're listening or watching. We include the links, and it's basically like a little citation. So definitely check that out. Also, if you have any questions, we got Twitter, we got Discord, also links in the description. So reach out to us if you have any questions. Now let's get started on these graphic cards and actual prices. So I start off with the cheapest one on the list. And these are all, reiterating, 1080p ultra settings at FPS per dollar amount. So AMD Radeon RX 5500 XT 4GB is currently being sold for $160. Okay. Now I'm going to start going across the major ones. RTX 2060, the GeForce RTX 2060 is around $309. The GeForce RTX 3050 is $300. Radeon RX 5600 XT is $344. Let's see here, something a little bit more modern, RTX 2080 Super is $517. Now that is considerably low than what I'm used to seeing. Your RTX 2070 Super is $473. If we go a little bit lower, the more modern cards, your RTX 3060 Ti is $579. Your Radeon RX 6500 XT is $200. And if we go to a little bit more expensive, the Radeon RX 6800 XT, $832. RTX 3070 Ti is $700. And you guys basically get it. So when we get to the higher levels of the top is something like the RTX 2080 Ti, $764. The newer generation of that card, the RTX 3080 Ti, is $1,279, and the RTX 3090 Ti is $2,000. Now that's really getting up there in price, and I do remember seeing that card in particular going for around $3,000 last year. So it's pretty wild. So wrapping up this article from, let's repeat his name so I give him credit, Jared Walton. He says, what's particularly interesting is just how good AMD's current mid-range GPUs do compared to NVIDIA's offerings. The RX 6600, RX 6600 XT, RX 6700 XT take top honors, with only the RX 5500 XT 4GB beating them. While you could argue the RX 5500 XT takes the first place, you'll have to deal with eBay and a used card, and prices tend to fluctuate more on eBay. For NVIDIA, the RTX 3050 represents the best value for an RTX 30 series card, ranking 6th overall and coming in just behind the RTX 2060, which you can find as a new card for just a few dollars more purchased directly from EVGA. Definitely recommend that. I have an EVGA card right now, actually. RTX 2070 Super, big fan. Might need to upgrade though. Can't be that big of a fan if I want to upgrade. So cards like the RTX 3090 Ti through RTX 3080, along with RX 6900 XT, all rank near the bottom of the chart due to the higher prices. It's possible to justify many of the cards in the 0.12 to 0.15 FPS per dollar range at 1080p Ultra thanks to their higher performance, but relative value drops that's a big SAT word. I went to school for math. I didn't read very well. So the value drops with the 3080 Ti through RTX 3090 Ti. So, for anybody that's been holding out for a while on the new cards, with, I swear, the RTX 40 series is coming out sooner or later. I'm guessing sometimes this year, at least being announced. Cards are coming down in price. So, for anybody that's interested, I definitely recommend Googling, checking out Tom's Hardware. They do have a pretty good list. They do have hyperlinks as well, I believe. Yeah, to Amazon. Probably affiliate links, are they? Yes, they are affiliate links. So you can check those out. I mean, this random one I picked, RX 6800, 16 gigabyte DDR6. I mean, this guy's on sale for 22% off, going at $819. So there are options out there. The prices are coming down, and it's looking good. It's looking real good to be a gamer. Hopefully I didn't just DOS myself with the address, did I? Let's find out. I might have to edit that. Nah. It's pretty well known what city I'm in, so that's no worries. Yeah, so without further ado, I mean, that's basically our week in review for episode 15. I know I went pretty fast. I've been kind of rambling on, but you know, that's what happens when you don't have a co-host for an episode. We had to take it back to the beginning. When I first started this podcast, I was essentially just doing around the same thing we did today, but without a camera on. So it kind of feels like I'm talking to somebody now, and it's pretty nice. So without further ado, we got episode 16 coming up next week. We'll have Kyle back, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the quick weekend review, and absolutely love that we're getting some type of traction. I've noticed analytically, I've checked out the numbers on all the platforms, and welcome to everybody that's been sticking around. Thank you so much for listening, and hope to see you again. So, peace out. We'll see you later.